what's the purpose of the 6 weeks of pleasure?
Well, I mean, 6 weeks of pleasure, that's the purpose.
But it sounds like you're going to have 6 weeks of doing some fun things.
Well,
but what it sounds like, is trying to help husbands and wives interact and become more intimate with one another.
Interact better on a more you know, easygoing level, or you know, more interaction that is more pleasant.
On the second week, the wife asks her husband for his advice or for him to tell her how to fix something mechanical.
So it doesn't have to be just mechanical. The advice
That's right.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had this issue. What do you think? What, you know, what's your opinion on it? What would you have done, or what do you think I should do, or what do you know?
And I think the reason why is they put this in the exercise for the wife to ask her husband for his advice, or I think that a lot of wives don't go to their husbands and they need advice, or if they need something, I'm sure they must if they need something fixed when there's repairs that need done around the house, but for the advice part, they might not do that so much. Maybe they think that they can take care of the problem themselves without needing their husbands. And I think this can make your husband feel, you know, not appreciated.
Yeah, I could see how these small, what appear to be small issues, could over a long period fester into bigger issues. Because you're right, you know, if especially where roles are not traditional, let's say, and they're not what we advocate, and rather what we promote as being biblical roles. You know, I could see where contemporary roles could easily fall into these traps, where, like what you said, you know, I mean, I could see, say, a working woman that's used to solving issues, and they're having people, perhaps even under them, that she delegates to, coming home and not needing her husband for anything.
Well, that's not very encouraging to the husband if he feels like he's not involved in his wife's interactions.
Yeah.
That would kind of make him feel left out of the marriage. And marriage is a one flesh, so I think that wives should go to their husbands more often and ask for advice.
It seems like this rapport between the husband and wife could easily grow into really unmet needs in a way. You know, I think that it would
Exactly.
it would actually be stoking unmet needs scenarios.
I
Or
think
if-
it's an unmet emotional need. I have a lot of women that tell me this. This is so good. Now that I realize it and we're going through it, I realize why these exercises are this way.
It's a great tool, rekindling the communication, which leads to more intimacy. So I think it's a great exercise. I liked it right away when I first received it from a associate minister friend. I liked it right away. And,
Well, I just know that we have a lot of couples that we are trying to help, and I think that offering them this 6 weeks of pleasure to do with their spouse is a really great idea. It says here that even on the second week, on another occasion, maybe the next day or the day after that, to ask for your husband's advice again, and or ask him to tell you how to deal with a relationship. Now that's interesting.
yeah, like for example, say that you had a disagreement with a customer, or you know, or a friend, or
Sister.
sister, or anything like that.
Okay. That's interesting.
But you think it's interesting that it asks specifically
Yes.
for on a relationship.
Yes.
Do you think it has to do with? I think that men have a more of a larger picture idea, whereas perhaps I'm just speculating here that women might have a little bit more focus on the details, and a man's perspective might be more objective because
A woman is more emotional.
a larger picture. It's not just
That's right.
not just emotional, but more focused on a detail of what maybe the little thing something that your friend said, and I might be able to have a perspective of, well, the reason that may have been said is because of this purpose, not to annoy you. You know.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the reason why it says that in here, for the wife to ask her husband how to deal with the relationship.
Yep.
I think that sometimes they get too emotionally involved in the problem that's in the relationship between the two.
Or specific detail.
Yes, and so asking your husband's a great idea.
Okay.
I think I've probably done that before with you.
I concur.
And it says for the wife, she should make a genuine effort to follow his advice or instructions.
Yeah, there's no sense in asking an opinion and then just ignore it.
Because he's
What's
probably
that all about?
he's probably about 98% right with his advice, because he's looking at it from a different perspective than you are.
Yeah.
And so pay special attention to what he thinks and try to accommodate yourself to his feelings. And husbands are to continue with the previous assignment of the very first one of asking your wife to tell you how her day was. And remember, wives, the only way a man can be an effective husband is when his wife lets him. Good advice.
Yeah, because if she won't let him, that's a big one there.